Well, the RBA is preparing to hand down its decision that could give millions of Australians a smile this afternoon after shouldering Australia's inflation fight. Joining us live is HSBC Chief Economist Paul Bloxham. Paul, good morning to you. Will there be a cut?
Well, we think so. We think the RBA is going to be able to deliver a cut this afternoon. We think, inflation is coming down a little faster than the RBA had previously projected back in November. Although it's not quite in the target band yet, we think they're going to be able to say that it's moving fast enough towards their target, and they're confident enough that it's going to get back to target, that they're going to be able to start to deliver a bit of easing, deliver a 25 basis point move lower in their cash rate this afternoon.
Should there be a warning, Paul, though, out of the US, which may have gone too early?
Well, so I think this case is there and it can be made. I don't think it's an unambiguously strong case, and certainly if you think about it, the timing is they could cut this today, or they could wait just a little bit longer for a little bit more information. But we think, given the guidance that they've given us late last year, that if they got their own inflation forecast, or if they got a little bit of a downside surprise to it, they would consider delivering monetary easing. We think that's going to be just enough to get them over the line for being able to deliver a cut. As you point out, though, I guess the challenge here is the economy is fully employed. The unemployment rate is still low at 4%. In fact, it's come down a little bit in the last few months. And so we've got a fully employed economy. And I think with that, that's going to mean that although we are likely to get a cut this afternoon, I think they're going to suggest that we might have to wait a little bit longer for the next one, that the next one's not going to be forthcoming at the next meeting.
Well, that was actually my next question. Is it too early to start talking about a second cut?
I think what we're going to see is the RBA telling us that they think we've made just enough progress to be able to deliver a cut today, but they're going to need to see more evidence that inflation is still heading towards their target fast enough before they're prepared to deliver another one. And I think that's going to mean that it's going to be probably the case that it might be a few months before we see another cut. Our own central case is that we'll get 2 rate cuts from the RBA this year, one this afternoon and one in the third quarter of this year. So a much slower easing phase than we might have seen in a lot of other previous episodes. But that's because the economy is operating still at full capacity. The unemployment rate is low. We're still in this narrow pathway that the RBA had hoped we'd be in.
Paul, there is a pretty strong political element here, as you know. It's in the lead up. It's on the eve of a federal election. Businesses and mortgage holders, they've done all the work here. They sure do deserve a break. And can the government take any credit for it, given its record spending?
Look, I think that the way the RBA thinks about what it does with its monetary policy setting is really based on how the economy is travelling. The RBA is charged, their mandate is to try to stay as close to full employment while bringing inflation down. And if we think about the fact that they've got the primary policy instrument for achieving that, well, I think what we should do this afternoon, and I think the RBA will deliver a rate cut, is say that's a job well done. We've managed to bring inflation down to a point where the RBA can start to ease back, can take its foot off the brake at the same time as we've stayed very close to full employment. So it's the RBA that manages inflation and manages the outlook for manages that while trying to balance being as close to full employment. So it's the RBA's policy mandate.
All right, no doubt all of that will be part of the debate once that decision is handed down 2 o'clock this afternoon. Good to see you, Paul. Thanks again.